Hey everyone. So I'm going out into the garden, finally getting my starters into the ground. It's been very rainy, very cold here, and it's just taken me a while to get stuff into the ground. So let me give you a little bit of a tour. So I was able to get some squash in the ground. I actually have some yellow. This is my yellow squash right here. My daughter had given me those seeds a couple of years ago, and they've actually turned out to be just absolutely wonderful. This is acorn squash. I actually harvested the seeds from an acorn squash that I just purchased at the grocery store. This is regular zucchini. I usually get the Black Beauty seeds. I don't have a ton of luck getting seeds from my zucchini because I usually seed save everything. Uh, but I just never really have great luck with it. And then I planted some other yellow zucchini because if you actually look at this, you'll see that it's really been doing really well. That's yellow and this is yellow. Now you'll also notice all this white that I have all around here. So those are eggshells. And you break up the eggshells and put them around, and it will help keep the, worms, not worms, but caterpillars from eating your leaves and your vegetables. So when I always put this around here when I first plant my plants, and then that way they never are able to get onto the leaves or, lay eggs or do anything like that. It also helps with the squirrels because between the caterpillars and the squirrels, these are like little shards of glass. And so they, don't want to run across it. So you just have to make sure that you break it up small enough. So I save my eggshells to do this. And then I also take these eggshells too that I save and I put them in the blender so they become a fine powder. And I put them in the dirt, and that helps with the calcium in my dirt. Now, I also was able to get some peppers into the ground. This is a poblano pepper. This one is a different kind of sweet pepper that I've never grown before. Um, it's called a Mardi Gras Fun Red, so it's thinner than a normal red pepper. And then that one are these, oh gosh, what are they called? Because I harvested the seeds. They're like big boy peppers, and they're really a large size. Now today I'm also going to try to get the rest of this stuff in. I have several tomato plants to get in. Um, I have some basil, some lemon balm, but mostly my tomatoes I need to get in the ground, and then I have a couple more squash plants that I'm going to be putting in. Now I'm definitely going to plant this mint plant today because as you can see it's getting very leggy. In other words, it's getting tall without any leaves here. And this is the kind that you would use in a mojito. So if you look for like mojito mint, um, in when you're buying mint, um, then it's usually the kind of mint that everybody likes in their tea or their lemonade or an alcoholic beverage. Now, make sure that you always plant your mint in a pot because otherwise it will take over an area and other plants. So, having it in its own pot helps control that. So these are my grapevines. I actually have 4 grape plants. These are my oldest ones. I planted these maybe, I don't know, 3 seasons ago. And they're just wonderful. I highly recommend that you grow grapes. These are Concord grapes. And, they're going to get a lot more leaves. And it's the end of May. And I usually get my grapes in, I want to say the end of August, maybe September, and I always make like a grape sorbet. I get a ton of them, and I really don't have problems with birds on them. So if you plant grapes, make sure that you get a very sturdy trellis. These are metal trellises. And then I'm probably going to put some wiring over the top this year because they're getting, taller and taller, and I can train them to go across. But they've just been wonderful. You don't have to water them a ton. The birds don't really bother them. And if you really look, you're going to see it's already getting some grapes. I mean, this right here, those are grapes coming in already at the end of May. So, thank you so much for visiting me in my garden. I'll give you another tour probably next month of how far we've progressed. But I really encourage you to have an edible garden. And if you're doing any kind of planting this year, try doing berries and fruit and grapes and lots of tomatoes. You don't need a huge yard. And as you see as we walk around mine, I don't have a huge yard. So, make sure that you check out our next garden tour.